Welcome to the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you take the first steps on your fitness journey. Whether you're new to working out or you're looking to get back into it, we've got you covered with tips, tricks, and inspiration to help you reach your goals. So grab your workout gear and let's get started. All right, let's hope this works this time. Last time, dang, video screwed up and it didn't save my video. So I don't know what happened to it, dude. I'm having all kinds of problems with the podcast lately. Everything's falling apart. But welcome back with Murphy Mac to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast. Fingers crossed that everything works this time. I don't know why, but for some reason, either the audio don't work, the video don't work. I don't know. Something goes out, the mic goes out. I don't know. I've been having issues. Hopefully, it looks like everything's working correctly this time. So hopefully we won't have an issue with it. But we'll see. It always happens after the fact. And normally it always works while I'm shooting it live, and then all of a sudden at the end, like it don't download. So I don't know. Oh well, we'll figure it out one day. But thank y'all for bearing with me, sticking through all my trial and error. I'm getting better at this thing. I'm still brand new, still learning. But either way, you can still hear the audio version of it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to the podcast at. So if you're joining live, thanks for joining live. If you ain't joining live, check me out on Monday nights, Murphy Mac Fit. I'm pretty much on my social medias. So yeah, today is Monday, May 29th. It is Memorial Day. So I wanted to start off the podcast by just doing a little moment of silence for all the fallen soldiers in the military. So we can go ahead and do that now. So thank you to all the fallen soldiers out there, the veterans, the active military, the reserves, anybody that has any play in the military families. Thank y'all, because we appreciate everything y'all do for us. We wouldn't have a safe country if it wasn't for that without y'all. So appreciate everything y'all do for the country. I know it takes a special kind of person to join the military. So yeah, with that being said, I guess I can update y'all about myself. Not much going on. Still just training. Thinking about signing up for. We got an Olympic distance triathlon in September up in Gulf Shores, Alabama. That's probably what I'm gonna sign up for that one probably. That's gonna be my next one. So I'm just gonna be keep training doing that. So I'm gonna have to swap up my weight training a little bit. I'm gonna have to take some days off from that and do more of the triathlon training because I kind of want to take it serious. So yeah, that's the only thing changing there. This weekend, actually went to Dothan because my brother-in-law is him and his wife are pregnant, and we had their gender reveal this weekend. So that was fun. Got to see the fam, hung out, and had a good time. But just got back today, so I had to do the podcast. So we can hop on here and spread some value, and hopefully y'all can take something from it and apply it in your own fitness journey. So that's the goal. Before we hop into the main part of the podcast, we're gonna do the quick tip that I like to do every podcast episode. And today's quick tip, it kind of goes along with the topic of today's podcast, which is strength training 101 or strength training for beginners. So my quick tip that kind of goes along with that is try not to ego lift. This is like a slang term in the fitness industry. It's called ego lifting. Basically means lifting way more weight than what you should be lifting, than what you can actually lift properly with the right technique that's going to give you benefits without injuring yourself. So we call that ego lifting when somebody's trying to lift a lot of weight that they can't actually do with the proper technique. So I'm saying don't do this or try not to do this because you're going to hurt yourself. Like you're going to get injured. It's not benefiting you at all. Like it's not doing anything good for you. It's only going to hurt yourself. Like it's only going to be bad for you. And don't try to impress anybody in the gym because you're probably not impressing anybody. You're probably not the biggest dude in the gym. There's probably somebody else in the gym that's lifting more weight than you. So putting a lot of weight on there and trying to do it, you're not impressing anybody. I promise. And if you're a dude trying to oppress a girl in the gym or something by doing a lot of weight, they don't even know how much weight you got on the bar. So don't even waste your time. Like you're gonna hurt yourself. Just do the lift right. Take some weight off. Do what you know you can do, and you'll see more benefits from it by doing the proper technique. So stop ego lifting. I mean, everybody does this at some point. I mean, I've done it myself. I catch myself doing it sometimes. I try to get in there and try to lift a bunch of weight, try to get as strong as I can, and I'll find myself doing the wrong technique. I'm like, oh, I didn't do that right. I need to go down on the weight. I need to take some weight off because it's not doing me any good. It's only gonna either injure me or not benefit me. So I'm just wasting a bunch of energy and effort on it for no reason. So everybody does it. Just try to catch yourself doing it. Focus on your technique and your form. You don't have to do a bunch of weight to see benefits from strength training. So that's my quick tip. Try not to ego lift. You probably catch yourself doing it sometimes, but just catch yourself and bring yourself back down to the actual level you need to be at. So with that being said, let's hop into the podcast, Strength Training 101, aka strength training for beginners. We're gonna talk about everything strength training, everything you need to know, like who should do it, who shouldn't do it, why you should do it, why you shouldn't do it, pros and cons, how you should do it, like the proper way, what's the right way to do it, what's the wrong way to do it. We're gonna talk about everything. So let's do it. Let's hop into it. Let's go. Some reasons why you should consider incorporating strength training into your fitness routine is because, there's numerous benefits of strength training besides just building muscle. So, first, it improves your overall strength, like your overall functional capacity. It'll make daily activities easier. So, bringing the groceries into your house from the car outside, picking things up off the ground, moving stuff around, moving furniture around, rearranging your house. Just simple stuff like this, it just makes it easier. And it also reduces the risk of injury when you're doing things like this. Because if you're bending over trying to pick up the couch and move it somewhere, you're you're putting your body in weird positions and you're not as strong in those positions. So it could lead to injury. You could pull a muscle in your back or something. Or if you're trying to carry too many groceries in, you may hurt your arm or something. Things like that. So it reduces the risk of injury, makes simple life activities easier. It just makes living easier, basically. So strength training can also increase your metabolism. This is one of the main benefits that you should do it. Helps you burn more calories throughout the day, even when you sit at rest. So it's good for that. It's great for weight management. Boosting your metabolism is going to help you manage the weight, like lose weight, things like that. Also, it can positively impact your mental health. This one's huge. It can boost your self-esteem, it can boost your confidence, it can improve athletic performance, very in pretty much any sport. Any sport, I would pretty much say you need to lift weights in some shape, form, or fashion. You need to be doing some kind of weightlifting. So yeah, that's just a few reasons why you should consider doing strength training. I think everybody should do some kind of strength training if you're not medically told not to by like a professional. With that being said, we're going to discuss some reasons why you shouldn't do strength training. Strength training is generally safe and it's beneficial, but there are some situations where you may want to kind of caution yourself a little bit, which is not going to exist for a lot of people, but there are some people out there that probably shouldn't do weightlifting. If you have any kind of pre-existing medical condition or if you're recovering from an injury, obviously if you're injured, don't do weightlifting. Come on now. It's crucial. You want to consult your healthcare professional, like your doctor or somebody that qualifies as like a fitness trainer or something that knows what they're talking about. You want to talk to them first because they're going to know more about if it's safe for you to do weightlifting. And they can kind of determine if it's appropriate because everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different and they can provide you a little bit more guidance on how to do it safely. Like they may say, yeah, you can weight lift, but you have these limitations. Like you maybe shouldn't do this certain lift or you shouldn't do this much weight or something like that. They can help you out, figure out a plan that's safe for you. So moving on, we're going to talk about who should do strength training. So in my opinion, I think everybody should do strength training that has not been told otherwise by a professional, kind of like we just talked about. So the great news is that almost anyone can benefit from strength training. Pretty much, probably 99.9% of people can benefit from it. So either if you're young, if you're old, if you're a male, if you're a female, if you're a beginner, if you're an experienced athlete, there's a place for strength training in your fitness routine, period. Like all these people can benefit from that. So it's important to start with appropriate weights. This goes back to the ego lifting. You want to progress gradually because this is going to avoid injury. It's going to avoid overexertion. It's going to avoid you getting burnt out on it. If you're unsure about where to begin, so consider seeking some advice. Go to YouTube, hire a personal trainer, ask a friend that's kind of has some experience with it. These people can help design a program for you, or they can guide you on the right path. Pretty much everybody that has not been told otherwise should do strength training. It's going to help you. Even if you're not an athlete, you still should do strength training. If you're just a normal person, you should be working out. Like, everybody should be doing it, in my opinion. Because I don't really think strength training has any negative effects if you do it correctly. Now, if you go in there and you lifting, if you ego lifting, you're going to get yourself hurt. So that's a negative effect. But if you do it correctly, work on your technique, work on your proper form, don't do too much weight. Like, the weight you will get stronger. If you do the workouts consistently with the proper technique, you will get stronger over time. Like, that's just, if you're applying progressive overload, like if you're adding weight, a little bit of weight over time, you will get stronger. That's just how the body works. On the opposite side of that, we're going to talk about who shouldn't do strength training. Obviously, like, if you're pregnant, you can do strength training. Like, I've seen pregnant women do strength training before, but I would do this very cautiously, and I would definitely talk to your doctor about it first. I'm not a woman, so I can't really, like, I don't know much about being pregnant and working out, but I know a lot of women do it. And honestly, I would say it's probably suggested. Like, you probably should do some kind of like exercising. I don't know about like lifting a bunch of weight while you're pregnant, but you should definitely be doing some kind of like exercise. Or if you've recently given birth, you probably don't want to hop back in the gym like the next week after you gave birth, because your hormones are probably all jacked up at that time. So definitely talk to your healthcare provider about this one. They're definitely going to know more. Um, I'm not a doctor, so I really can't help you, and I'm not a woman, so I don't know much about the female body, but I would say it's probably beneficial for you to do some kind of exercise, but probably not beneficial for you to go in there and try to like do a max rep, try to work out super hard. You probably should just be doing some light exercise, and that'll probably be good for you while you're pregnant. If you have any other like medical conditions that could affect like I don't know, a lot of people with like uncontrolled hypertension probably shouldn't work out. People with cardiovascular problems shouldn't work out, or should work out with limitations, maybe not doing a lot of weight. It's crucial to seek that medical advice before starting any strength training program. And if you have those conditions, you probably already talked to your healthcare provider about it before. So just talk to them first, or do a little research on the internet before you jump into any kind of weight training if you have those problems. But other than like those two little scenarios, like pregnant or very severe like medical problems, everybody else should be working out. Like, you don't have an excuse not to be working out. So let's explore some of the pros and cons of strength training. On the positive side, strength training can help improve muscle tone. It can increase strength. It can increase power. It can enhance your overall body composition. It provides a sense of accomplishment. It boosts your self confidence, your self esteem. So it's good for things like that. Make you bigger, make you stronger. Obviously, y'all know what working out will do for you. So on the flip side of things, if it's done incorrectly or excessively, strength training can lead to muscle strains, joint injuries, muscle tears, overtraining syndrome. So you got to find that right balance, and you got to listen to your body's signals to avoid pushing your body beyond your limits. Like, pay attention to what your body's telling you, because putting all that stress on your body, it can lead to overtraining, it can lead to injuries, things like that. And then getting over excessive with it, it'll lead to like body dysmorphia, things like that. So you don't want to get too caught up in being like excessive about it, but I think it is I think it's important to be very invested into it, but don't like overdo it. Cuz I catch myself overdoing it sometimes. Like, I hate missing a day of working out. If I miss the gym, I'm gonna make it up. Like, I'm gonna go that weekend, or I'm gonna go that night or something. Like, I hate missing it. I like that because it keeps me consistent. But sometimes I feel like I kind of overdo it. Like, sometimes I probably could take a day off, and it probably helped me out more than it actually hurt me. I try to like take a day off when I can, but my body's so used to doing it because I've been doing it for so long that I don't really like injure myself much or get super super sore anymore, because I've been doing it for so long, and I've practiced the right technique and things like that. So I'm not doing nothing crazy. And I don't train very heavy anymore. Like, I don't do a lot of strength training. I do lift some heavy weight, but I don't do it a lot, so I'm not really like putting myself. I'm not risking that injury as much as kind of like I used to. So I'm more cautious about what I do in the gym, if that makes sense, because I don't want to injure myself, obviously. So finally, let's discuss like some right ways and wrong ways to approach strength training. So the right way involves a few key principles. First, you want to focus on proper form or proper technique. It's going to ensure maximum effectiveness and reduce the risk of injury. So if you have the right form, if you have the right technique, you're going to get the most out of the exercise. If you're not doing it correctly, it's not going to work the muscle or the muscles that you're trying to work when you do that lift. So you're not going to get the benefit from it like you should. And if you're not doing the technique right, your risk of injury highly increases, especially when you're doing compound lifts like the deadlift, the squat, the bench press. These are very easy exercises to get hurt on. They're very hard and difficult exercises that take a lot of practice to get good at. So if you're not doing them right, you will end up injured at some point as you add weight. I mean, if you're doing body weight or like just the bar, you're probably not going to get injured. But as you start adding weight to it, it's very easy to get injured. So second, you want to start with lighter weights and gradually increase the load as your strength improves. So I kind of hit on this earlier. Start with just the bar. Start with the bar and work your way up. Add 5 pounds every other week or so, and you'll get stronger. I mean, eventually you're going to hit like a plateau to where you can't add weight that often. So you need to start adding like maybe 2.5 pounds or something like that. So add a little bit, or you can add extra reps or add extra sets. These are other ways that you can make it harder to get stronger. Because when you first start out, you're going to see some pretty good gains pretty fast, but then you're going to quickly hit a plateau, and it's going to be a lot harder for you to put on that muscle. So you got to find other ways to make it harder to put more stress on your muscle without actually adding weight, adding reps and adding sets, or like messing with your rest times and things like that. That's ways you can make it more challenging for you to keep getting stronger. Third, you want to allow for adequate rest and recovery between workouts to avoid overtraining, promote muscle growth. Most people know this, but not everybody. You actually grow outside the gym. You're not growing muscle in the gym. You actually are tearing down your muscles in the gym. And then you grow outside the gym when you're recovering, when you're resting, during your sleep. That's when your muscles repair themselves. That's when they actually grow. So recovery is very, very, very important, and it's critical to your success in strength training. This is where I kind of mess up myself, is because I don't like taking days off. I don't. And that's just me. But the way I've set up my training is I don't work the same muscles every day. So while I'm working a different muscle group, the muscle group I worked the day before, it's resting, it's recovering. I'm not using those muscles. So that's how I've set up my training, so I can work out more days of the week and still recover properly and still see progress in the gym. So it's all about how you set up your training plan. And then lastly, it's essential to maintain consistency and incorporate variety into your routine to prevent plateaus and keep things interesting. So, like I said, you will hit a plateau if it's like, say, every other week or every week you're adding 5 pounds to your bench press. Eventually, you're going to get to a point to where you can't add 5 pounds every week or every other week. So you're gonna have to change it up. Or something else you could do is do a different version of the bench press. So instead of doing a regular barbell bench press, do some dumbbell bench press. These are ways you can change it up and add different stress to that muscle. It's going to hit it just a little bit differently, but you can still work that muscle. Change it up a little bit. I do suggest doing like the same kind of workouts for a while, like at least like a month. You want to do the same ones, and then change it up, because it takes your body a little bit of time to adapt to that muscle, to actually rebuild that muscle. So if you do something different every time, you may not be applying that same stress to each muscle. So you may not ever like grow from it. If that makes sense. Just keep it interesting, change it up, do workouts that you like. If there's a certain workout you don't like, you don't have to do it. For example, I don't do deadlifts. I don't like deadlifts. I'm not good at them, and they're very injury prone. So I don't do them. I just don't. But does that mean my legs are weak or I don't work my legs? No, I found other ways and other workouts that I like to work my legs or to work my back. Same thing with squats. Squats are very easy to get hurt on, so I don't do them as often as I used to. I definitely don't do a lot of weight on them because they hurt my back. They really do. So what I do other things, leg extensions, things like that. So that's just ways you can keep it interesting and still see results in the gym. So on the other hand, the wrong way to approach strength training includes using proper form, lifting weights that are way too heavy, back to ego lifting, not using proper progression, like jumping too high up in weight, trying to do a 1 rep max or something when you know you're not ready for it. So these things can all lead to injury. It can hinder your progress. Additionally, like if you neglect your rest and recovery, you're not going to build muscle. You're not going to grow. If you're just focusing on one muscle group and ignoring the other ones, you're going to be unproportional. Like you're not going to build your whole entire body. Like say all you do is go in the gym and work arms. Like you're gonna have big arms, but what happened to your chest, your back, your legs? You're not gonna be proportional. So these are things that are gonna hinder you a little bit. So make sure you're working your whole body. And yes, don't skip leg day. Everybody knows can't skip leg day. You gotta work the legs. The legs suck to work. I know. Everybody knows. Or I don't know. You may enjoy them, but I don't. I don't like doing legs, but I make myself do them because that's part of the process. It's part of the journey. That's pretty much all I got for you on strength training. I mean, that's just like the basics of strength training. We're not going to go super into detail about any like programs or how much weight you should be doing on each thing or what lifts you should be doing. That's just kind of the basics on who should do it, who shouldn't do it, why you should, pros and cons, things like that. And that's all I got for y'all as far as strength training goes. But can't end the podcast without doing the motivational quote of the week. So this quote this week is all right, here it goes. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. So I'll read it again. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. So the way I read this and the way I understand it is the only thing holding you back from whatever it is you're trying to achieve is the things that you're telling yourself today. The doubts that are in your head, the things that you're not doing to improve, the negative talk that you got that you not believing in yourself, like not believing in yourself is going to hold you back. It's going to limit your potential. So that's kind of how I read this quote and how I understand it. It's your own mindset. Your mindset is what's holding you back. You got to start believing in yourself. Some ways that I help me that I overcome things like this is I started doing affirmations in the morning. If you don't know what an affirmation is, it's something that you tell yourself over and over to where it eventually become true, to where you'll start to believe it. So it's like a mental trick. Like I write them down in my journal every morning. I do it, and it's just things to remind yourself, things that you want to do, to so you'll start believing it if you start telling yourself every day. So like just simple things like I don't know, like I'm powerful or I'm 10 pounds lighter, or I bench press a certain weight today, or I don't know, whatever it is that you're trying to do. I do different things. So yeah, that's just an affirmation. I mean, just give it a quick little Google search and it can explain it a little bit better than me. But yeah, that's ways that I help with my mindset to try to get me in the right state of mind to help me not doubt myself so much. Cause I mean, everybody doubts themselves. Everybody don't think that they can do something. But when you actually start working towards it, working on that goal, you start to develop this mindset of, oh, I can do it. Oh, I'm gonna do it. Oh, I'm gonna do it and achieve whatever, or I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna be really, really good at it. So people that put in a lot of practice, people that put in the work, they build that self confidence because they know they can do it because they've been putting in the work. Example I give is like last week I talked about I did my first triathlon ever, and at first I was kind of scared because I didn't think I could finish it, but after I trained for several months, I 100% knew I was gonna finish. I was not worried about not finishing triathlon. Like I knew I was gonna do it 100%. Like nothing in my mind doubted it 1 second. I didn't know how fast I was gonna do it, but I knew I was gonna do it. Wasn't nothing gonna stop me from getting across that finish line. I just knew I was. That's because I put in the work, put in the time, and I built that self-confidence. So I didn't limit my tomorrow. I didn't limit that realization because of the doubts that I had today. So yeah, that's the motivational quote. How do y'all take it? Let me know. What do you think about this quote? Is like how do you interpret it? I wanna know. Y'all let me know. If you have any ideas for the podcast, please let me know. Hit me up, DM me something, give me an idea. If you got any questions, I'd love to talk to you about it. try to help you out the best I can. That's all I got for y'all today. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see y'all again next Monday. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the podcast. Hope y'all took something from it. Apply it into your own fitness journey. Start doing some strength training. Y'all need it. Everybody needs it. It's going to help you out in pretty much in a lot of different areas. So, yeah. And most people enjoy it. Once they start doing it, they'll start to enjoy it. And then they'll realize why all these gym people go to the gym all the time. Most people think fitness people are freaks because they like to go work out and torture themselves. But once you actually start doing it, you'll start to enjoy it. But yeah, peace, love, protein. We out. Thanks for tuning in to the Fitness Beginner Podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring. Remember to always start small, set realistic goals, and most importantly, have fun. Don't forget to tune in next week for more tips and advice on how to kickstart your fitness journey. Until then, stay active and stay healthy.